Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony G, and we are about to get started. We all know by now that the government has gone into shutdown, and we're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about what jobs that have been cut, what affects America, and what doesn't, a little bit. And I said earlier, man, I'm not sympathetic because Chucky Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries were refusing to work with Trump and things. So, they just did not want to work with this guy. And, so therefore, we're just going to go ahead and go right into it. Now, I'm going to wait for people to come into the chat before I get started. But I will say this, though. Since the government went shut down, Chuck Schumer, right? As of October the 1st, 2025, the U.S. federal government has entered into a partial shutdown at midnight, right? So, making the first major funding lapse under President Trump, second term. This is shutdown stemmed from a partisan deadlock over the continuing resolution, which is a CR for short, to fund the government operations beyond the fiscal year deadline, right? Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, he's a Democrat out of New York, has been at the center of the blame game, right? With Republicans accusing him of orchestrating the closure to force healthcare concessions, while Democrats insist Republicans and Trump are refusing to negotiate on expiring Affordable Care Act subsidies, right? Below is a breakdown of what happened, right? So we want to look at it right now. Some of the things, such as September the 19th, 2025, the Republican controlled House passed the H.R. 5371, which is the clean CR extending the funding at current levels. Through November the 21st, 2025, it's mirrored the bipartisan deal from March the 20th of 2025 that Schumer supported. Remember when and this is reported that what ended up, he got a backlash from who? His own party, right? September the 29th, the White House meeting between Trump and J.D. Vance, House Speaker Mike Johnson, Republican in Louisiana. Um, Let me see here, or is that L.A.? I think it's L.A. Senator Majority Leader John Thune, everybody know him. He's a Republican out of South Dakota. Schumer and the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, which is also a Democrat out of New York, failed to yield a deal, right? This is where we are at right now, September the 30th, 2025. Senate votes failed on both Republicans, CR lacking 60 votes due to the Democratic opposition, right? And the Democratic alternative trying to fund to the ACA extension shutdown begins at 12:01 a.m., which is October the 1st. Here we are, right? So as of October the 1st, shutdown entered one day. Trump administration frees 26 billion in funds for the Democratic leaning states. New York subways and harbor projects escalating tension. Man, they are big mad, ladies and gentlemen. Woo, they big mad. That's why I wanted to put the title in. They are big mad. You see that look on their face? They are mad about it, man. They cannot seem to get their way. They cannot seem to get their way. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. But the party is mad. Chuck Schumer is feeling the pressure because we already know with AOC is right on his neck. And you know what? I said this before. I want to see AOC, man. I want to see AOC be the future leader of the Democratic Party because there's a chance that if Chucky ain't careful, he can lose his position. He can lose his seat because, you know what I'm saying? AOC, I'm not a fan of her, but I just think it's funny though, they don't have no leader anyway. They don't really have anybody, but they mad about it though, man. They are mad. So let's talk about it. So if we were to talk about it, so the Congress must pass a 12 annual appropriation bill or a CR to avoid the shutdown. The Republicans holds slim minorities, right? 53 votes out of 47 Senate, right? The narrow House edge, but needs 60 Senate votes to overcome the filibuster, right? That impasses involves around. So the Republican position, right, passed a clean CR to maintain funding levels, avoiding new spending admin. Trump pushes for 2 trillion in cuts from the Department of Government Efficiency, and this is what we need, ladies and gentlemen. We need these cuts, man, because he said it the whole time, and this is what we voted for: to shrink the government. The government is way too bloated, way too corrupt, and Trump is doing the damn thing, right? Which we have the Department of Government Efficiency, right? Which we know it better as Doge. They accuse the Democrats, right, of holding funds, right, hostage for radical demands like 1.5 trillion, right, in new spending, 500 million for NPR. This was in there. This is what they were trying to push, man. NPR, PBS, Medicaid expansions for 1.2 million undocumented immigrants. This was the slip. This was now. Notice when they were saying that, oh, Trump going to cut the Medicare, man. We want to push this in for everybody. They never said about the immigrants, but it's here a 27-page that the bill that the Democrats were trying to push, and we know that they wanted these funds. Check this out. I mean, this you guys, some of you guys have already read this on the news already, man. The Democrats are done. Man, they're big man, so they were trying to push this nonsense, right? I mean, 1.2 million in undocumented immigrants. We talking about illegal aliens getting Medicaid. They wanted this is the demands from Chuck Schumer, right? He wanted to push this. This is what they wanted to push. Trump is like looking at him. No, it just isn't going to happen. It just isn't going to happen. The Democratic position, right, led by Schumer, exists on extending expiring ACA, right, premium subsidies set to lapse at the end of 2025, which could raise premiums for 20 million Americans, right? Right? This is the position that they've been telling us Americans, all right, that the premiums can go for 2 million Americans and risk 15 million losing coverage. Losing coverage without action. It's just so laughable, right? It really is. It's just very laughable. Laughable. Schumer argues this isn't a new spending, but prevents Trump era cuts. See, because Dems don't like cuts, man. They do not like the cuts. They hate this thing, right? So let's go ahead and finish on with it, right? So the Trump era, they do not like the cuts from taking effect, right? And called the GOP, which is the good old party, claims of free health care for illegals, right? The total absolute lie. The Democrats demand bipartisan talks, refusing a clean CR without protections, which is absolutely true, you know. And this is one of the reasons why we are in this situation right now. Right? I tell y'all, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. The Dems are big, man. They have no power. They have no power, and it's only going to get worse, right? They have no power. That's why you see they pissed off on that photo. And I always gonna get somebody to get triggered by it because I do things that can trigger certain people, because it's fun for me, right? Now, here's the thing about it. Schumer's strategy is a shift from his March 2025 vote with the Republicans, right, to avert a prior shutdown, which due to backlash from the progressives, representative like Alexandria, well, AOC, y'all better know her ass, you know. He faces internal pressure, but it's framing the fight as demanding health care admin for Trump's agenda. So this is what it is, basically, you know. And he knows he's afraid, as I mentioned earlier, because if I'm correct, AOC has a lot more votes. Chucky Schumer is not very popular in the Democratic Party right now. They want to go with somebody younger and a little bit better looking than Chuck Schumer, now that's for sure, you know. So, the thing about it is that I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. I wanted AOC, man. I really want her. Since she's the lead, put her out there, because we know that she's running. She's running for the presidency. You know what I'm saying? So put her butt out here. One thing I want to say is that since she's representing New York, we already know how her district is doing so great and well, right? For both of them, man. It's a joke, man. They come in this room sometimes big mad, man. And we over here just telling the truth. They were trying to push this nonsense, try to be slick and try to get this bill passed. Remember, we still control the House. We still control the Senate, right? That's the main thing. So, you know, good luck on that one. But Trump is going to strip and pull the funding, though. He's already have. If Mondani, ladies and gentlemen, if Mondani, it looked like he's at what is about 80% chance for him becoming mayor in New York. Now, I was born in Brooklyn, New York, but I grew up in Detroit. But here's the thing about it: if Mondani gets in there, where do you think he's gonna get the funding from? Because if Trump ain't gonna give it to him, where do you think he's gonna get the money? So a lot of people I'm telling y'all, man, y'all better leave New York, man, because it's about to get real bad. Let's see. Michael says he should pull the Green New Deal funding. Yeah, I think it's gonna happen because a lot of these the new Green Deal is bogus, as you already know. There's a lot of other things in this deal that the Dems was trying to push again because they want more funding for NPR. Now, I know at one point in time we all grew up watching NPR and listening to them every now and then. Some of you guys never have. But is it something? Do we need a 1.2? Do we need this for that? Absolutely not. Because all they're going to do is treat it like another slush fund. This is the same group of people. I'm talking about the Uniparty outside of Trump. I'm talking about for both Democrats and Republicans, right? You had the low down rhinos, right, which are the neocons, and then you had the Democrats, right, that were stealing money from the taxpayers. We cannot forget about that. This is why we are in the situation that we are now. The devaluation of the dollar, right? Look at all the businesses went overseas. This happened on their watch. Michael says, Jojo, he gave billions to rural hospitals already. Blah. Yeah, that's what I say, man. I ignore people because they get hurt and they get triggered and bothered. Barbara says, me too. I'm also mad at Donald. What you mad at Donald? Barbara, tell me what you mad at Donald Trump about. Tell me what you mad about Trump. Let's talk about it. Why are you mad at Donald Trump? You got to get in line for that one. There's a lot of people mad at Trump. It's a lot of people mad at Trump. Big mad at Trump, right? Right? Could you give me a little information or a little reason? I'm sorry, the reason as to why you are mad at Trump. I'm willing to hear it because I'm actually going to go into the partisan shutdown, the furloughs, and the non-essential workers, right? So with the impacts and the shutdowns, let me tell you guys who it actually affects. So we're talking about federal workers, right? Tricia says, "Does anyone really care? It's nothing new." Well, that's what I'm saying. It is. This is not nothing new. Ben says, "Any normies is mad at Trump." I know, right? There's a lot of people you got to get in line on that one. So the federal workers, right? We're looking at about 2.3 million civilian impact, right? Military pay via prior funds, but minus 500,000 civilians unpaid until the resolution, right? The TSA, right? People that work at the airport, park rangers without payback. Now I think if I'm correct, and you guys may have to correct me on that. Remember when Trump earlier this year, when he put it on the table for federal workers, wouldn't they get some type of severance package or something like that if they were to retire early for some of them? I don't know all of them would be qualified for this, but some people that got tenure, they've been in there for a while working for the government, I believe they have severance packages for these people. Michael says, I love how people are explaining why they are mad at Trump. Yeah, I just want to know why they're mad at Trump, though. Because I'm willing to listen if they can constructively tell me why they're mad at Trump. Are you mad because of the federal workers? Are you mad because Trump? What is it that you're mad about Trump? Because I think Trump is doing an excellent job. I'm a Trumper 100%. Because my other live earlier, I went over all the wonderful things that Trump done, and I can go over them again if you like. But I want to hear from Barbara and the rest of these people, the ones that say that they're mad at Trump. Ben says, "I'm okay. I have missed a month of work in the middle of the summer. This never happened under Biden." Yeah, because think about it this way, Ben. You got to keep in mind, America has been under siege for a long, long time. We're talking about unnecessary spending, fraud, and so forth, right? So we had this big bloated government, right? And this, I mean, look at it. The deficit constantly keeps going up. It's $37 trillion. It's steady going up. So these cuts are necessary. We're in the process of a war between two sides. You got the corrupt, right? That never gave a you know what about Americans. It took those to discover where the money was going. Have you always, I mean, look at it. Are you satisfied the way it is? Are you satisfied paying taxes? Are you satisfied? Look at the roadway bridges and so forth. We don't really have a real infrastructure here in America. You have an influx of illegal aliens that had came over here that displaced a lot of Americans, right? Jobs been outsourced. It's going to talk about it. Devaluation of the U.S. dollar has been shrinking. Gold ain't just going up; it's that our money is going down, and you can't seem to understand that. Biden wasn't running it. We know it was by Obama in the closet. He was the one that's been doing all this stuff. We are still in a recession right now, right? Trump is trying to get us out, but you got the feds that are not cooperating with Trump. This is another thing, right? We had lawfare. We had a lot of things going on blocking things of what Trump has been doing. Trump's policies is what he promised. He said he's going to stop the border, mass deportation, right? Right? These are the things that he ran on. This was a promise to the American people. 78 million people voted for Trump, right? Because Kamala Harris, she didn't have a better plan. She wasn't qualified. She was a DEI hire. She didn't know what she was doing. And we as Americans cannot jeopardize ourselves risking voting for her. And ain't no telling where we would have been at right now. So you say things were better under Biden. I say it wasn't because I remember we hit an all-time high under Biden's inflation. It went to 7%. Some of you guys remember that. It went to 7%. It didn't go all the way down. We still underwater here because the Feds is refusing to work with who? Trump. They are a private organization anyway. They don't. Thank you for the hearts too. I appreciate it. They don't have any. They don't have the Americans' well-being here. They don't. They do not have our best interests and well-being at all. And we're seeing that right now. Because the thing about it is, if Trump takes control of the Federal Reserve, you know what's going to end up happening? We're going to see inflation going to really drop. We ain't talking about a half a point. Half a point don't do anything for people here that are struggling. You got people out here homeless. We are running still off of the Biden. Let's keep it real. This is the Biden inflation that we're dealing with here. This ain't Trump. Trump came in trying to fix it. Biden. This is how we're affected right now. All that money he sent over there to Ukraine, you remember $350 million, I do believe, went to Ukraine for an ever war that was never meant to be, uh, never meant to be ended. It was going to be a forever war. We were the ones out here suffering. You see what I'm saying? So this is why the Democrat side is so angry because they don't have control of the House and Senate. And I'm gonna tell you the real reason why a lot of the Dems hate Trump. They don't have anything to do. They just look at him as this white man, look mean, angry, and racist. It ain't got nothing to do with his policies. They just don't like him. If they would really be honest about that, because I already know Trump derangement syndrome. No, they just don't like him. You know, that's what it's about. Because remember, Trump has never been a politician ever. He's a businessman. But you have people in this country, right, that love politicians, that lie to them, tell them sweet little lies. That's what they're used to. They're used to being lied to, ladies and gentlemen. And that's where we are right now. They are the ones, these politicians, career politicians. Look at Gavin on Newsom, right? How he interacts and talks with people. He's very polished, I give it to you. Perfect hair, tall in stature, thin. A lot of women would consider him handsome, right? But when it come down to when you break him down, he doesn't do anything for the American people. It's the opposite. Just ask people that live out there in LA. There's a lot of people that was turned off of what he did to those people in LA and the fires and all that stuff. And that's just one out of many. I can go with many more of these phony leaders, but I bang on them on the left because they were the ones in power. And they let the American people down. They sold the American people out for chicken change. And I still say that, you know. Yeah, they come in the room. I'm not bothered by trolls because we already know. I already know where they're coming from. Bots and trolls. They do not like Trump. And some of them are paid advocates, right? They're paid to do what they do. See, I'm not paid by by the Republican Party, right? But a lot of them are paid, manufactured, and everything. So this is basically what it is. Let's go ahead and talk about it more. The Social Security cuts, right? We talk about let me see here, WIC, women's thing, all this other kind of stuff. Then this is what they're saying, right? Well, this is what the Dems saying. They're saying that the WIC program is going to be affected by $6.7 million. Social Security payments and so forth. We talk about national parks, museums, IRS. These are things that what they're saying. You know, this is what they're saying. You know, and there's many more. This is what they're saying. Now we already know, as I said before, just by looking at it, and we could just go down further down the list, man. There's a lot of things here. And Trump always said that he was going to shrink big government. He was going to, and he's doing it. He's doing it. I mean, look at the coffers that's filling up for, what is it? The actual tariffs. You know what I'm saying? Because if I were to do the check on that, money is steady coming in because he's creating a parallel economy. I'm talking about with the Trump administration. Yep. He's creating a parallel economy. He's competing against the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve know this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna take a little time, but I do know that Trump will seize control of the Federal Reserve, and then therefore, when they go in to slash it and cut the points, because I believe ultimately he's going to get rid of the Federal Reserve and the IRS. I can see that coming. Everybody know that's the handwriting on the wall because everybody in this room, some of you guys are homeowners, and I said this before. You don't own your home when you got to pay taxes on it. Stop paying taxes, they take your house, right? But if someone is going to remove the actual taxes, whether you believe it or not, but Trump been spot on everything that he's been doing so far. That I do know. He's been spot on. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why the majority of the people backs Trump and not the Dems because they have shown themselves to be reckless, careless. They do not have the people. Thank you for the hearts too. I appreciate it. And the likes. I appreciate it. We just looking at it, right? In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and troll them some more, ladies and gentlemen. Why not? Trump accomplishments in 2025 of January, right? When we talk about you heard me mention earlier about the immigration and the border security, that went down on day one of his presidency, right? So the southern border encountered a drop to a historic low. So yeah, so here it is, right? Talking about it right now. So when we let me see, hold on for a minute. Yeah, so with the border, right? So the historic low of 6,007, right? This is what ended up happening in June of 2025. 15%, right? And this is what we're showing right now with a zero release on parole. Right? Administration conducts a record number of deportation, right? Flights removing over 600 known suspects and terrorists and arrest over 100,000 plus illegal aliens in crime, including 2.7, I'm sorry, wait a moment, 2,700 Trinidad Lager gang members. Then he had the Lake and Riley bill passed. Y'all remember that cute woman? He was great and unalive, and all that could have went away, but that happened under Biden administration once again. See, so he passed the Lake and Riley bill back in January 29th, 2025. This requires ICE to detain non-citizens, right? Non-citizens charged with theft or assaulting police officers, and allow state to sue, right? This is the thing about it right here. Yeah, this is exactly it right here. Yep. The DHS for immigration failures designated cartels as terrorists. I remember we all remember that Trump did that. You know what I'm saying? These eight Latin American groups, including MS-13, the Sinaloa, were labeled for foreign terrorist organizations, right? Guantanamo expansion and enforcement surge, ordering expansion of the House over 300,000 high priority detainees. ICE arrests, right, rose to 627% versus the administration's with 37,660. Deportations by late February, protecting the benefits of non-citizens, right? So here it is, protect benefits for non-citizens, right? So when Trump wrote this executive order to shield, was it $40 billion in programs for illegal immigrants? This is big, ladies and gentlemen, because remember when he shut it down. He shut it down. This is why the Democrats, and I did this on my other live. I put the receipt up. The Democrats lose on immigration. They lose on the economy. These are the two alone, and they lose on the Medicare, right? These are the three major things that the Democrats are so far underwater. And I think I remember reading, what did I show on there? And CNN even aired this. They said it was, I think with the economy, no, it was immigration. I think it was, 20, was it plus 22%. Now the Dems are so far underwater, they lose on those three levels right there, those three categories. They don't have any footing in this though. They won't make the midterms either. They don't even have the narrative, you know what I'm saying? And the way of what's going on right now is only getting worse. So here it is, economy and trade. The one big beautiful bill that was signed in July the 4th, 2025, that delivered the largest tax cuts in history, boosting the take home pay for up to what's it, 13,300, while cutting the benefits for 1.4 million illegal migration, right? Which we call them illegal aliens, right? You know what I'm saying? And raising the debt ceiling, right? It added a 3.3 trillion to the debt over a decade, but extended the 2017 tax cuts and increased the military and border spending, job growth, and wage increase. These are all the things under the Trump administration of what his accomplishments are. I would say that this so far, what I've been reading, has been a very, very good report card for what he's been under. He done wrote so many executive orders dealing with the corrupt, low-down, lunatic liberal left that have went willy-nilly on the money and sold Americans out for chicken change. You know what I'm saying? Let alone they allowed all these illegal aliens in here in the first place that should have never been in this country. You know what I'm saying? But I can pull up old footage of what's her name? Hillary Clinton, Robin Clinton, right? Talking about the necessary of keeping illegal immigrants out. It's amazing how they changed their rhetoric now. Back then, it was all about keeping the illegals out. She said it. There was many others that said it. Now it's a whole different animal. Whole different animal now, you know. So I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I like I said, I don't worry about trolls or nothing because once again, they are on something different. And I said before, you have a lot of mental illness people here in America, and I would hope that they will sign into our law to be able to bring back these sane asylums because we need them to be able to put these insane people that need help. They need to be instituted in these things. Some of them don't need to be out in general population no more because they are detriment to themselves, harming themselves. And we need to bring that back, ladies and gentlemen. We really do. Let's go ahead and talk about the job growth and wages, right? Netting 671,000 jobs added, right, since January, right? Because we already know all to native born workers, right? Blue collar wages saw the largest in May, increasing in 60 years because of the deals that Trump been making overseas. He's been bringing a lot of American businesses. Like this is why the tariffs was introduced in the first place to get the American workers, I mean the companies back over here to America, where we could get Americans back working, and that's what we really needed. The corrupt Biden political machine. I'm glad we have stopped that machine and things like that. It's been weaponized. It's been wreaking havoc. They push that woke bullshit. They're only 4%. They weaponize transgender. They try to take a lot of our um, constitutional rights away. Even with the COVID, they try to make everybody wear a mask, force the mandate. Y'all remember that? That old stupid social distancing crap stuff. So all this stuff went on under their watch, ladies and gentlemen, under their watch, right? Now, with the tariffs deals, right? So, Trump imposed a 10% universal import on tariffs back in April 2nd, 25% on Mexico, Canada, 10% on China, right? March the 4th, securing a deal with China, I'm sorry, UK, China, Indonesia, and 14 billion in USTO golden share, right? Right? Sales collected about 90 billion, right, in in duties by July with a 27.2 billion June surplus, first since 2005, right? We have a surplus of 27.2 billion, right? Investment pledges over 7.6 trillion committed by companies and foreign governments, 1 trillion in AI investment, including 90 billion in Pennsylvania. Trump is doing the thing, the deregulation savings, the rollback cuts, 180 billion, right? You know what I'm saying? So he's been doing the thing, man. He really has, you know. But we're in a better situation now because this ain't a lame duck president on the second term. And Trump has been swinging. He's the champ right now, and he's been knocking out any contender that step up. Remember, the House on the Dem side, they don't have the power, they don't have the narrative, they don't have the leadership anymore. It's just screaming, hollering, and white noise. This is why you see it in Antifa. This is why they're over here trying to stir up a coup. Everybody know it. Because when the Dems don't get their way, what do? They result to events and violence. Events and violence. You see them, some of them in this room. Events and violence. So what they do. That's what they do. You got crybabies, soy boys, soy girls that's out of control. You know what I'm saying? Like we were so much better off with illegal immigrants. They're hypocrites because, as I called them out before, I call them out all the time. The hypocrites don't care anything about America. They didn't want to bring up Gaza and things like that. What I can bring up, if you really cared about Black Lives Matters, black folks kill black folks more than anybody else, and they never gave a a damn about it. So this is the hypocrisy. Thank you for the likes, I appreciate it. This is the deranged and hypocrisy that they are under right now. Everybody see it. They don't have a leg to stand on, ladies and gentlemen. They're looking pitiful than ever before. And they've been found out. They don't do anything for the American people. Here I am over here telling you about Trump's policies and his accomplishments. This is in black and white, bar none. They're not gonna make the midterms either, because how are the Democrats are gonna beat the Republicans on immigration? How are they gonna beat them on the economy? And how are they gonna beat them on the Medicare? I mean, they're underwater. That's why I say though they're underwater, and we're moving their foot soldiers out of this country because therefore we don't have to worry about them cheating. Well, I'm gonna cook some dims. I love cooking and cooking these rhinos too, man. I'm cooking right now and I'm steady cooking, you know. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Healthcare and the food safety, right? We're talking about RFK Jr., right? That's phased out artificial dyes, 35% of food industries, including Hershey's. 90% of the U.S. ice cream makers committed to eliminate. Yeah, that's too small, though, you know. But yeah, I ain't gonna take that ride. So yeah, so that's the thing about it, though, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of these type of things um, that we're actually looking at here regards to it. Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of the name of that organization. Hold on for a minute, but it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. But it's kind of funny though, man. That like I said, I'm used to the trolls, right? That they don't bother me because they don't have anything constructive to say. They just hate Trump, like they hated Charlie Kirk. Look at Turning Point right now. Turning Point chapters have blown up tremendously. You got people out there now that's carrying on the work, right? They taking it to the people, to the youth, you know? Even what Charlie Kirk and what his legacy was about. He's been turning on a lot of the youths in America to get them to accept critical thinking. We talk about religion, right? Christianity and so forth. Bringing back the things of what America was about. It wasn't perfect, but like I said before, it's a step in the right direction. It was way better than what was going on from the low down left. That's for damn sure. So what about the fentanyl and all this other stuff? Look at what they did. Legislative and judicial wins. Trump won over the Genius Act, the Fentanyl Act. You know what I'm saying? He also the Supreme Court support, block injunctions, right? Improve the third country deportation revoke TPS for 500,000 migrants and enable bureaucracy shrinkage. And this is exactly what ended up happening. Market highs, the SRP 500, NASDAQ. Yeah, I've benefit from that, man. Stuff has been looking great. If you've been an investor, you know what I'm talking about, though. You know what I'm saying? These are things, though, that what's been going under Trump's accomplishments. You know, but like I said, they can't. Once stuff has been documented, you can't refute you kill them in documentation, and it's there, and no lying about it. This stuff that I'm reading, it's already been documented. Okay, and they mad about it. That's why they come in here mad. They say, "Oh, they'll hide something you can't lie about documentation, right?" But they're mad, man. You know what I'm saying? Look at them now, playing traffic. But your party is gone. Your party is booty. Look at him. Thomas is big man, man. Thomas, you big man, man. You pussy. You big man, man, aren't you? You's a pussy. You's a pussy. Pussy, pussy. Oh, you're a liar. Look at him, soy boy. See, this is what I'm saying, though, man. He's a soy. You Nazi. You Nazi. When they go to name calling, I already got that ass. And I do it just to see. That's what I say. I know how the stuff go. Man, that's what I say, man. He big man. He's big man. Keep on robbing the American people. Let the illegals stay into the country. He sound more of a fascist if ever. The Democrats are fascists, every last one of them. They don't stand for the Constitution. I love the Constitution, and I'm a Second Amendment right gun holder too. And I'm encouraging you guys that are listening. I say this and I keep saying it. Get your CPLs and stay out of these gun safe zones because they're not safe. I said this before. Look at the lunatic up here in Michigan, right? That did what he did, right? Now, that was supposed to be a gun safe zone. It's Church of Latter-day Saints. They ain't hurting nobody. But I ain't going to no church institution without my just in case, I tell you that much. Because he will be took down. And they know it. You know what I'm saying? We don't mess around over here as Second Amendment right gun holders. We don't mess around. That's the thing about it. But a lot of these soy boys and stuff like that, Thomas ain't about that life. He's over here just talking like many of them. Thomas is not about that life, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Just by looking at me, one good scare, he'll be go running off in the hills. He's not about that life, you know. You don't want that. You don't want them problems, Thomas. You just talking. You get on the internet like the rest of them and just run your trap. You ain't about that life, man, for real, for real. This ain't what you want. You don't want this. Since you're not American, this don't even pertain to you. In fact, I'm glad you told me that. Let me go ahead and get him out the room right now. Because we don't need no hear from nobody that's non-American. You don't live in America. We don't want to hear from a non-American telling American people what to do. Now that's one thing that will get you kicked out of here. We don't listen to non-Americans telling Americans what to do, right? We tell the world what to do, not the other way around. You've been ripping the taxpayers off for a long time. We've been over here feeding these welfare countries like Canada and all the rest of them. No more. We getting those tariffs, 10%, 20%. But thank you for the hearts. That's what we're doing. This is America is back, ladies and gentlemen. And doesn't it feel good to be an American right now? So, like I said, that's why I had to get Thomas out of here. He said the magic word. He told me that he wasn't even an American. So he don't have no, you know why Thomas is mad? Because his country now got to pay tariffs. Ain't the Europeans in trouble now? How they gonna pay for their universal health care? They ain't getting it from the American taxpayers no more. So where they getting this money from? Don't are they trying to are they with NATO trying to fund a losing war with Ukraine? Ain't that what they're trying to do? We gonna see how long that lasts. French people ain't got no money. UK ain't got no money. Germany ain't got no money. Ireland and all the rest of them ain't got no money. Where you gonna think their money gonna come from? It's been funded from the United States for a long time. And since we're not even in that war, which I'm glad, where do you think they're gonna get the money from? Huh? You know what I'm saying? They're just losing over there, man, and we're winning. This is the hottest country in the world to be in right now is America. Can y'all smell that freedom? Freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, man. We're going back to the Constitution, ladies and gentlemen. America, you mark my words, this is gonna be the greatest country on earth. And everybody want to be part of it. Because they paying high taxes and stuff, PST, GST, HST, elemental P. They paying all this stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Soon as Trump gets control of the Federal Reserve, thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Soon as Trump get control of the Federal Reserve, man, we're gonna go into new heights. This is the golden age. You know what I'm saying? For real, man. We don't have to hear from nobody that's not a non-American try to tell me and criticize America, man. That's one thing Americans don't listen to foreigners. We do what we do. We hard workers over here. You see what I'm saying? Shoot. I know he wasn't about that life. I wasn't even worried about Thomas. He wasn't about that life. He just talking. You know what I'm saying? But at any event, ladies and gentlemen, going back to my points. So where was it? We talking about the tariffs, right? The tariffs and stuff like that. What about his investment pledges? Trump pledged like 7.6 trillion committed by companies and foreign governments. 1 trillion in AI investment. That's true, including 90 billion in Pennsylvania, right? I think that has a lot to do, but yeah, that's a lot of things over there though too, because I think they got that Keystone pipeline. Trump is over there drilling. He's enrolled it back. Deregulation savings, 180 billion, right? These are things that are going on right there. What about his energy inflation? His energy emergency declaration, right, led to 44% more in oil and gas drilling permits than under Biden. Remember, Biden shut him down, right? These are things that he did, man. So it's a beautiful thing, man. I mean, America is back, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to justify myself. These guys are drink the Kool-Aid, Trump derangement syndrome. They just paid advocates for the left, and that's just what it is, man. I don't give them a lot of shine. They just come in here just talking stuff. They're not about that life. And like I said, we are winning, they losing. You know what I mean? So we have a lot to be thankful about by having the greatest president we ever had in our lifetime, and that's Donald J. Trump. You know what I'm saying? I always say this when I met Don Jr. before last year, which was a beautiful thing. I got photos with him and stuff like that. And I'm going to buy his book. It's called, Eric Trump. I'm gonna buy his book called Under Siege. You know what I'm saying? Where he explains how the Biden administration was weaponized and how they went after Trump, his whole family. and everything. It's all there. Trump have how much over over 20 some odd $1 million in lawsuits from these people that have lied on him and everything. They gotta pay up. He just won another lawsuit not so long ago. See, they're not very smart, man. You know what I'm saying? They pick fights that they know they're gonna lose. They've been on the losing battlefield the whole time. You know what I'm saying? They don't really have nothing but insults. That's all they have left. And I ain't never had worry about nobody throwing insults. When you can't come in here and defend what their policies are, you know what I'm saying? They have already lost. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is, though, man. Can't be a cult though, drunken fool. You can't be a cult because, like I said, 78 million people voted for Trump. You the one that's in the cult. You know what I'm saying? You the one that are a cult, and you too, man. You know what I'm saying? I did a live yesterday talking about why having the so-called black community come into prominence. The Democratic Party had a lot to do with it. They undeveloped these black communities, right? Elevated the black woman over the men and broke it up to family union. And this is why for 6 years they've been voted Democrat. And a lot of them ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. They don't get no respect in New York. A New York cat in New York trying to even get up in the face of a woman gets shot down like it's never before. And people from New York know what I'm talking about. So don't even try it, you know? I know you ain't. I know, you know what I'm saying? But, like I said, you see the thing about it, drunken fool, the thing about with you is that the stuff that I've been over here talking about, I noticed that you do not have a rebuttal. None of them do. Thank you for the like. I appreciate it. None of them do. They just come in here and talk ish all day long. I mean, that's just, yeah, he didn't explain shit. He just throwing the insults or whatever like that. I gave you these are hardcore facts. And if you don't like America so much, why don't you don't bounce up on out of here, brother? Aren't you one of those African dudes, pan-Africanists? Why don't you take your ass back to Africa? If this is so much of a racist country, why don't you pack your ish up and pack yourself and bounce the F on out of here? That's what you do. And anybody else don't like America. Why don't you do like Ellen DeGeneres and go on and pack your suitcases and go and roll up on out of here? Why don't you do like her and Rosie O'Donnell? You don't have to be in America. Why don't you just go on the bust on out? Yeah, this dude is black, doo-doo, boo-boo, and doo-doo. I love trolling these trolls. They got they big mad, man. They are mad. They are big mad, man. I think I'm gonna troll their ass some more, man. Do a very bad job of trolling, man. You really do. You really do. You ain't talking about nothing. You're just over here talking ish. You know what I'm saying? Look at this, man. Look at this, boy. All this ain't nothing but main calling, man. And then we got somebody here, oh man, over here quoting Malcolm X, man. Shit, them brothers lined that man up and killed that man on some of their own, man. You bringing up some very bad examples, though. You know what I'm saying? You over here bringing up a dead man when their own damn people killed him because they were jealous of him. Shit, this is crazy, man. This is crazy, man. Oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? Oh man. I've been over here talking. Well, you just come in the room and insult me. Well, I want to talk to you about policies because I can bury you on Trump's policies. All you're going to do is get mad, over talk, like the female soy boy you are. That's all you're going to do, right? That's all you're going to do. I'm going to give you one hint about Malcolm X. There's a guy called HB Hunt. You should go and look that dude up because he has a lot to do with Malcolm X's murder. You should go look up HB Hunt before you talk to me about all this other stuff. Find out who that dude is and find out. You talking about I'm too smart for you? Ain't saying nothing. This room, man. They try to come in this room and try to throw rake. You ain't saying nothing though, NH. You another soy boy. That's all you are. You're pathetic. And a lot of you that's coming in here trying to troll, you are pathetic. You are pathetic losers. And I'm gonna tell you this: you would never see a Democrat for at least 20 to 30 years. The way how your party is gone. Do y'all know that the NAACP is in the back pocket of the DNC Democratic Party? That's a fact. That is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly what it is. They not only destroyed the black community, but a lot of them, the NWA is they're powerless. They're powerless, right? This is just ridiculous. You got to go and bring up a dead man, and we in the modern day time right now, when we're dealing with a man that have done so much for America, and you want to bring up a dead man? Come on, man. Come on, man. How's that working? We don't need a debate. We need real action in America to making America beautiful again, making it better again, making it crime free again. This is the stuff that people want to hear. We don't want to hear nothing about no race baiting ass crap. We been there and done it. You gets no time on here. You talk about that, I bounce you out. You just should be happy that I even allowing you to even speak in here. Because I really don't. I can just go on and bounce your behind right on out of here. It's just simple. Because I've seen these so-called pro-blacks before. Okay, let me go ahead and take care of NH. Hey, NH, hit the road, Jack, and don't come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. Boy, he big man. He's big man, though, boy. Oh man, this is just crazy, you know. Big man. But at any event, ladies and gentlemen, enough with the trolls though, because they're not talking about nothing. They're just in their feelings. But other than that, though, you can't handle the truth. You can't. Well, yeah, let me get rid of drunken too. Drunken fool. You know, anybody that name them with drunk name is less than a six pack, and things like that. Let's go ahead and put him. We'll take drunken fool out of here too. So we got NH, drunken fool. Let me see here. Doobie, you can. Oh yeah, let's get Doobie up on out of here too. Usually I have my moderators in here, but you know, people got to do some other things. So there you go. Sticks. Yeah, he can't handle the truth. He can't handle it. He can't handle the truth. There you go. He's gone. All right, there we go. I know, right? I moderate on other people's channels too. So yeah. Oh man, I'm just having fun. I appreciate the likes though too. Thank y'all so much, man. Ooh, man, you know what? Y'all make the show. The trolls kind of make the show. I just be laughing at them, man. Cause they come in here trying to be disruptive. Sorry, Charlie. Sorry. But other than that, though, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is straight facts of what I read that's already documented. This is where the stuff that I'm getting. I'm also a subscriber. It's just me. I'm not an affiliate of Ground News, but I do like Ground News because it's not just from the right side. You get moderate. You also get people that's on the left that write the articles. They let you know which side they're leaning. So that's why I like Ground News, right? Ground News is really, really good. Good. I bought a year subscription at $99. Ouch. But you know, I figure because this is where I get a majority of my news, and I get them from other sources too. But Ground News has been really, really a great revelation in my life regards to um, I can get the news depending on which side, or I can get it straight down the middle, right? So you don't get all that bias stuff, right? It's an umpire bias. It's like old school journalism, and I suggest that you guys just Google Ground News, and you can download the app. Monthly subscription, I think, is like $8.99. This is a free plug because I love the product so much. This is why I use it. You know. What's this channel about? We're just talking about political stuff. In this particular topic, we're talking about big bad liberals like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. So that's what I was talking about. I already went over the shutdown and what was going on there. So yeah, that's one of those type of things. Have you ever listened to Stephen Quago? Oh, no, nope, I sure haven't. I'm not for sure who he is. Um, but um, I'm assuming he got to be pretty good if you're giving a recommendation. I see I'm gonna have to go and check it out. Cause I do get recommendations as well as books to read and things like that. So I do read too. I enjoy reading actually. I really enjoy reading. I got myself around, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, but that's exactly what it is, though, man. I'm gonna have to check him out. A lot of you guys have been great tonight. Y'all really have, and things like that. Because I know when I make certain thumbnails, it usually gets a certain group of trolls coming in here. You know, they don't like it. Okay, but let's back to business. Everyone can understand our society. Yeah, and that's true. I can't read the rest because I'm about to drive, pick up my passenger. But yeah, that's the thing about it though. If he's recommending a good book, and I'm gonna check it out. That's all I ask is that you give me some recommendations. You can talk about some stuff where we can talk about it and see. You know, there's always another side to some things. So yeah, I'm open for that. I really am. I'm open for that stuff. You know, why not? It's really cool. It's really cool. Everyone is equal. Exactly. Absolutely, everyone is equal. I never set up here coming from an elitist standpoint, acting like I'm better than anybody. Mm-mm. But unfortunately, we do have people in this world that come from a elitist position that act like they're better than everybody else. You know, it ain't gonna be perfect, but we do the best that we can. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And I knew when I created this thumbnail, I was gonna get some pushback. Certain ones, it's triggering. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. Because they don't like the fact that they Democratic leaders, ladies and gentlemen, that are losing the fight. They know they are. And that's why they go to name calling like little ass children. How am I going to take a grown man serious when they're over here talking about, they get over here and want to hurl name calling and not even giving any type of reason for their party, though? Because like I said, with the categories where they were losing, the biggest ones are immigration. That's the first one. The economy is second, right? Just those two, and the Medicare, the healthcare industry. Those three areas, they are so far underwater. How are they going to win in midterms coming up in 2026 when they're deep underwater? Their party is deep underwater. CNN reported this. I pulled it up and saved it. I have the receipt. And what I'm going to do next time is when I'm really on my at home studio, I'm gonna throw it up, screen share it like I did before, and you'll see how far underwater the Democratic Party is. That's why they come in here and do what they do. They're not winning with ICE. They're losing with ICE. They're not winning on these fronts. In fact, I remember on immigration, it was a plus 22 points over the Democrats. That is huge, ladies and gentlemen. That's not nothing to sneeze at. The Dems do not have a policy for the immigrant. They have one. It's called bring them in for free and let them ride and sap the money off of good hard-earned, working American citizen tax dollars. That's why these guys won't come in here and deal with the real truth. That's what it is. They will not. They will not deal with the real truth. Just with that alone, right there, they can't win that. It offended a lot of Americans. It turned them off. Americans are offended, man, big time. How would you like? I mean, it's like stealing money out of our pocket to pay undocumented alien or worker or whatever to come in this country and to give them set asides and programs that Americans are supposed to be getting. I ain't never known. This is treason right there. That's a treasonous act right there. That's treason. And the Democrat Party is for it, along with some of these rhino Republicans. Don't leave them out either. Remember, I go hard on the rhinos as well, too. We know who the rhinos are. And that's why we're going to primary day butt come to midterms. Because they ain't ish either. They ain't nothing more than liberals trying to pass off as being conservative. We don't benefit from that garbage. It's the truth. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a better place right now thanks to Donald J. Trump. He had brought so much to America, getting us. That's why I say those binary stuff, woke stuff, all that stuff. We done stopped all that. They're not getting the funding no more. In fact, the Democratic Party is going bankrupt. And I'm gonna tell you, Trump's legacy will be The president who destroyed the Democratic Party would be Donald J. Trump. That's why they hate him so much. There's other reasons too, but that's some of the big reasons. The Democrats, Dems, don't have their way no more, ladies and gentlemen. They can't go willy nilly on the taxpayers' expense no more. That's a known fact. He stopped. This is what we voted for him to take back the country. He said he was going to do it. America first. This is the first president we have ever had that put America first. You know, Democrats, Rhino Republicans, they put us last. Trump put us first. And here we are. This is the stuff that they don't want to debate on. They already, like I said before, they will not debate on this stuff. They come in here hurling name calls and all the rest of this stuff. Nobody been hurt by that. You never heard the old saying, "Sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt you." Yeah, name calling never hurt nobody. You know, they can't come in here, conduct themselves. You know, explain their position. I can't wait till I start getting these fools on here on my dropping a link down to getting them to come up. But when I start doing the link, my disclaimer is if you come over here name calling, you try to talk over me, because I got a system that my voice can override yours at my home mixer and studio, right? And if I can just go on to silence them or kick them on out of there. That's the only thing I require for them. We go ahead and have these debates real easy, real quick. You just got to be cordial, right? You can explain without acting like a female. You don't have to be all emotional. You know, as a man, you shouldn't be anyway. Women, I kind of give them a little bit more leniency. They get a little bit more emotional because they are. But as a man, you're not supposed to be emotional like that. You're supposed to be in logic and common sense and being able to critical think for yourself instead of allowing the news media and stuff to talk to and tell you what it is. This is documented stuff that I've been reading. I ain't making this stuff up. And I'm a ferocious reader too. I love to read. Some of these people on here, they should try reading for a change instead of playing all these video games and all this other stuff, man. Reading is fundamental. You can't even deal with it. Who can you deal with? That's what I'm saying. I'm just a random dude. You know what I'm saying? That stands by the Constitution. That's what I am. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press. That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Second Amendment gun rights. Because I'm going to say this, and I did my lives on this already. A lot of these DMs that have these so-called peaceful protests, they all end in riots with Antifa too. This is not a peaceful protest. This is riots. This is more tolerance, lover of all people, and all this other stuff. That that went out the window. Look how violent they are, man. We're having these being the hypocrites that a lot of them are. Where, like I said, I can take in places in America